that.
black
I
man from
agree with
Jamaica.
that. But
Now,
is
I don't
she
wanna get into the
African
pigment. I
American?
don't wanna get into the pigment
No.
issue.
But is she African American? There's a difference. There's nothing wrong with that. No one is trying to take anything away from her.
Let's go down into her lineage.
I think you're falling. I think you're falling into a trap of that. All she had to do was say, "I am black, but I'm not African American." That's it.
Don,
I think
I'm not falling
in a trap. I'm not falling in. Let me finish. Hold on. I'm not falling into a trap by that. When she goes down her lineage, many Africans landed in Jamaica and all these other Caribbean islands. So she could indeed
Jamaica's
be
not America.
African American mixed with others. But she is
Jamaica's not America.
But she is a black woman. She was
Jamaica
born
did not
here
come
in
out of
America.
Jim Crow.
Okay, well
I'm
let's go
just
into
saying.
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz was
I'm not
born
talking
in
about
Canada.
Ted Cruz.
His father
This is
was
not
Cuban.
about Ted Cruz. You're changing
I know,
the subject.
but you know what? We cannot. It was hypocrisy. I'm not changing the subject.
Yes, you are changing the
She's
subject.
a black woman.
This has
I don't
nothing
know
to do
what
with
you
Ted
want.
Cruz.
Okay.
The truth shall set you free.
Is Kamala Harris black? Let's take a look at this genetically. Kamala Harris's ethnic and racial identity has been a cause of controversy, but here we'll dispel any confusions. Kamala Harris's mother, who was named Shyamala Gopalan, was from Tamil Nadu, India, and though her exact ethnicity isn't known, we can assume that she is of Tamil ethnic background, and Tamils, even including Brahmins, tend to have more local ancient South Indian ancestry and less of Indo-European steppe ancestry than North Indians. Kamala's father, Donald Harris Sr., shown here, is of Jamaican mixed racial background. It is said that he is of mixed South-Saharan African and Irish admixture. However, the exact proportions aren't known. And it wouldn't be different from African Americans, as African Americans on average are also of 20% European admixture. And generally in USA, if one parent is black, then the children are also mostly considered black. Not by all, but by most people. So in essence, the answer comes down to whether black is implied genetically or culturally. Genetically, Kamala Harris isn't different from many people in America who have one non-black parent but are still considered black, such as J. Cole, Tiger Woods, and etc. The only way an argument can be made is if black is meant culturally in terms of being a descendant of American slavery. In that case, Kamala wouldn't qualify as both of her parents are immigrants.
And then she was everybody's favorite Hindu Indian.
Hi guys, it's Mindy. I'm here in my kitchen, and today we are cooking, but we have a very special guest. Very special. Senator Kamala Harris.
Hi guys.
Okay, so what we're gonna cook today is an Indian recipe.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
you are Indian.
Yes.
Okay, and I don't know that everybody knows that, but I find that wherever I go and I see Indian people at the supermarket, on the street, everyone's like, you know Kamala Harris is Indian, right? It's like the thing we're so excited about to have you running for president.
Yeah.
So we're both Indian,
Yes.
but actually we're both South Indian.
Yes. You look like the entire one half of my family.
Okay, thank you.
You do.
I've been telling people
You
we're
do.
related already,
Yeah.
so this is perfect. It's basically true. And so were you raised eating South Indian food?
South Indian food. Lots of rice and yogurt, potato curry, dal, lots of dal, idli.
Yes, Italy. That's a deep cut.
Prosecutor and attorney general and senator, and now she becomes black. But, you know, I met her daddy, fine gentleman, Professor Harris.
While the 56-year-old Democratic VP-elect has spoken fondly and profusely about her Indian mother, little has been said about her black father. So who exactly is the father of America's first black vice president? And why have we heard so little about him? His name is Donald Jasper Harris, and he's a distinguished professor and economist from Jamaica. In a 2018 piece titled Reflections of a Jamaican Father, Professor Harris revealed that his paternal grandmother's ancestor was Hamilton Brown, a patriot who's on record as a plantation and slave owner.
And the problem with her being black is Professor Harris says he's Caucasian, mixed Irish and Hindu. He doesn't have any black ancestors, but his Irish ancestors owned a lot of slaves in Jamaica and had them to work on plantations.
I bet you didn't know this about Jamaican DNA. Afro-Jamaicans are the largest self-identified ethnic group in Jamaica, and as you can tell by the name, majority of the ancestry derives from West Africa and modern-day countries of Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Nigeria in particular. Jamaicans inherited about 78% of their ancestry from this source. The next largest ancestral component of Jamaicans is that of European, primarily from British Isles of England, Scotland, and Ireland, but with some minor Portuguese and Spaniard ancestry as well. This ancestry makes up 16% of average Afro-Jamaican genome. However, the third next component is the one that people from outside of Jamaica may find surprising. Asian ancestry, primarily from modern-day China and India, makes up around 6% of Afro-Jamaican ancestry. There are numerous prominent Jamaicans with confirmed partial Asian ancestry. So the motto chosen for Jamaica being, "out of many, one people," is an accurate one.
The way I cannot stand judgmental people. There is not any instant in my life where I cannot remember being judged, especially being a Jamaican who does not fit the stereotype of a Jamaican. My earliest memories are being judged.
All right, so I know I look at the Democrats as an opposition, so on and so forth, right? But this video is not to make fun of Kamala Harris, it's not to talk shit about Kamala Harris. My message is basically saying this: just because you think Jamaican, you should never, ever, ever conclude that it's about black people. Just because the majority of Jamaica is black, is of African descent, does not mean that just because they say Jamaica, they mean black. Kamala Harris's mom is Indian. By far, hands down, that's what she is. But then we say that Kamala Harris is the first black vice president. And now we're saying that she's the first black female presidential candidate. But to explain that she's black, based on the fact that she says she's half Jamaican, her dad is Jamaican. But that can mean a whole bunch of other things. People are saying that she's biracial. You come up with that assumption because her mom is Indian and her dad is Jamaican. But come to find out that her dad is actually Irish, and what makes him look dark is the fact that he's Indian. So he's actually Irish and Indian, and he's a descendant of a slave owner. Here's more examples of what I mean. When you say Jamaican, you should never conclude to just black people.
When did you decide that you were Jamaican? Was it when you came back over here? Was it when someone asked you? Like, was there an experience where you just felt, I identify as a Jamaican man?
Let me explain to you, yeah? And I don't know if I've ever said this on an interview anywhere yet, but my mother, before me, she had a miscarriage. So when she was pregnant with me, she could have gave birth to me in Jamaica.
Right.
But where we live, the hospitals weren't great. So obviously she has that opportunity to leave. Once she had me and did the checks, 3 months on a plane back to Jamaica. So from there until what I know has been that. So it's not like I wake up one day and say, oh, 5-year-old, I want to be Jamaican. Oh, 10-year-old, I think I'm Jamaican. 12-year-old, okay, cool. I'm definitely Jamaican. Yeah. It's just what's inside. You understand what I mean, brother?
To call yourself a Jamaican, that's interesting, because you said that you weren't born there. But I guess if the community to which you kind of were raised in, which is Jamaica, obviously, if they've embraced you, the large swaths of them and stuff, and if you've got citizenship, I don't know if you have, but yeah, from where I come...
Harry, do you have a Jamaican passport?
Yes, I do.
So,
Cool.
so I find it interesting as well, because how do you decide what your ID? I'm from Jamaica. My grandparents are from Jamaica. Yeah. My dad's born there. My mum was born here. You probably would know more about Jamaica than me, just because I'm black now.
Wait a minute. You're black now? What were you before?
No one, if I said I'm Jamaican, no one's going to question me. It is, you're just Jamaican.
Exactly.
But you probably know how to cook yard food. You know how to do all of that
my life.
better than me. So then who are we to tell him, actually, no, you're not Jamaican, just because he's white?
Great. Come on, from the board. Come on, from the board. You know, my great-grandfather is from England. Yeah. And we're not interested in England.
My game. They say that in the England thing, burn up Babylon.
Yeah, England, them mad people.
Are your grandfather come from there?
Yeah. But in change up with the German them. But when you go to Canada, and you tell us say from Jamaica, they expect say, appear black people.
dark people come from Jamaica. It's a one set of pussies them, not true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I never know the straight nose man there.
Yeah. And when this hard patch
50 here.
I'm going to be a joke.
Yeah.
My son, you know, up, live up Kenya now, fit. He go to college and everything up there and live over 5-6 years now up there. And he never can go down to Toronto. So then go to one club.
Yeah.
And then see some Jamaican. And they tell him, say, yo, I'm a Jamaican, yeah. He said, no, he imitate the Jamaican. And they want to fight. They want to fight them. Want to fight my nephew and my son.
Wow.
Call him trick him, trick them.
If him know how your foundation in Jamaica, yeah.
And she start the pastor now. He said, "Bomba clot, this man a Jamaican for true."
Mind game, them mind game, that.
Yeah.
He said, "Blood clot, this man a Jamaican for true."
Like I'm a renegade. Me don't know, you know, kind of young to remember the show Renegade? Or you know it?
Yeah, welcome on.
Alright, me have one bike look like him, so some of it.
Okay.
You see that building out there, so? Right back right there, some of the barn. Me no barn, I'm going to do it. But me go I can do it.
So you see one time they call it Jesus, they not say Jesus, they say Lord Jesus.
Don't know, Baker said, Lord Jesus ain't coming. You think I joke? Everybody.
Where are the family?
You see, as Americans, we're on the outside looking in. So when you say Jamaica, right away we'll look at black people. I'm gonna find out there's generations, right? There's generations of white Jamaicans, Asian Jamaicans, you know, all sorts. Jamaica's a big old melting pot. It's almost like the country Belize.
Is this the most mixed country in the New World? Those Central Americans don't even speak Spanish. Belize is home to just over 400,000 people. It used to be part of the Maya civilization and ended up being part of the British Empire. But is it the most diverse American nation? Less than 5% of Belizeans are European, most of them being Mennonites of German ancestry, while Amerindians make up close to 10%, as they belong to various native Maya groups. Now a lot of Belizeans are Afro-descendants, and almost half of the population is mestizo, with balanced European and native admixture. So what makes Belizean ancestry so special? Belize is a complex melting pot of culture, yet it is quite a unique case in the Americas, as three populations have an almost equal input, making Belizeans a Euro-Afro native mix. So there is really no need to ask, is this the most mixed country in the New World?
It's almost like the United States.
A lot of folk don't know about the Caribbean and Indian connection. I ain't talking about the Taino Indian, I'm talking about the East Indian. More than 36,000 Indians came to British Jamaica as indentured laborers between 1845 and 1917. Check this out. Some of the spices in Caribbean food inspired by these same Indians. For example, curry. Look at the connection. What else they eat in the Caribbean? What about their roti? As much as the Yardis love roti, it came with the Indians back then. And I truly hate to say it, but if you know your history about Rastafari, Leonard Howard became friends with a lot of Hindus. So although Rastafari is supposed to be Afrocentric, you can see a lot of Hindu culture in it. Why did? Now I ain't gonna say the Rasta man got the Nazi from them, but the Hindu Nazi up too. Look at that boy crown. Look at that boy crown. The East Indians are the largest ethnic minority in Jamaica. They arrived as indentured laborers between 1845 and 1917. But I'm not gonna say the Rasta man got the Nazi dread from the Hindu. You know the crown been associated with the consecrated Israelites, Nazarite vow. But I would say the steam session was definitely barred by Hinduism. What they call that herb ganja? Google, ganja is a Sanskrit word, Hinduism. What they also call it Kush? Kush is a Hindu deity. And if you know the real old school Rasta, they used to call it Kali. But Google, Kali is a Hindu goddess. So when you see them boys put that coconut shadows to their face, I will show y'all how the Hindus do it as an oblation for their deities, as an offering to their gods. Hey, but check this out. Look at them two girls. Notice how these two Indian girls kind of look like Jamaican artist Shensia. Twins now. Hey, that's the connection between the Caribbeans and the Indians. But let me show y'all something deep, man. A lot of the East Indians are Ethiopian in descent. Ooh, the doggone Kushites. Let me show you the connection between the Cushites, ancient Sumeria, Mesopotamia, Babylonia, Chaldea, Dravidians, Indians. Watch this. There's definitely a blood relationship between the Dravidian tribes of India and the Ethiopian Sumerians. These are modern day Dravidians. These melanated people are some of the original inhabitants of India. They migrated from Chaldea, Sumeria, Babylon. Now remember, Abraham was a Chaldean. They were like the enlightened gypsies of that time. Now look at a lot of the Hindu gurus right now. You see the connection? Hollywood would say this Abraham, but in reality, Abraham would have looked more like this. A melanated man.
I mean, how hard is it hitting your soul right now? Kamala Harris is half Indian, half Jamaican? Or is she just Indian? Another thing I want to say. You know I love reggae music. Jamaica. We're talking about Jamaica, right? You know Bob Marley's dad is white.
This is Bob Marley's father, Norval Marley.
He like when you call him Captain. Yes, but his name is Norval. I met him right there in 9 Mile. And then as a white man in the district, you know, I always ride his horse and things like that. He and my father becomes good friends. Then at that time, he see this little girl, and I guess he liked her, and we finally get together, and that's how it happened.
How old was your sister when she met the captain?
She was, what, 16? Captain was about in his 60s.
So he was an old man?
Yes.
My name is Peter Marley, and Bob Marley is my second cousin.
What did you know about Bob Marley's father?
He rode a horse most of the time. He was in the British Army. I think he was stationed somewhere in India in World War II when he got shell shot. I understand he drank and that he lived a, what shall I say, a full life.
If you don't know, now you know.
What if I told you that this isn't India, but South America? You may think that South America is dominated by Latin culture, and while these countries are surrounded by Latin-speaking countries, their people and culture are of completely different origin. The South American nations of Guyana and Suriname, along with Caribbean islands of Trinidad and Tobago, stand out from other countries in the region in a major way. The most populous ethnic group in those nations were brought over as indentured laborers in the 18th and 19th centuries from India. First waves mainly consisted of purely men from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar regions who signed contracts in order to work on sugarcane plantations. However, in the late 1800s, in order to cut costs associated with returning the laborers back to India, they were encouraged to stay, and in return were given parcels of land, as well as encouraging women, mostly married wives of the laborers that left to migrate to the Caribbean as well. In the second wave of migration, some people from Tamil Nadu also arrived in the West Indies and South America, as about 20% of people of Indian descent in Guyana and Trinidad are of Tamil and Telugu ethnic origin. Aside from forming a plurality in those countries, there are also large populations of people categorized as Dougla in those countries. Dougla people are a mixture of those South Asian laborers and Africans that were brought over to those countries before the South Asian laborers were. As a result, when counting people that identify solely as of Indian descent, and Dougla people as well, we get the image of that region having highest percentage of people of Indian descent outside of Asia.
All right, so I hope my message is clear, and I hope you learned a little something, because I learned a lot, right? And I'm not new to migrations. There's a migration everywhere. I mean, look at the island of Fiji. It's in the South Pacific. Guess what? They're all mostly Indian too. Indians migrated. South Asians migrated. That's just how that happened. I mean, I'm going to show you all a video, another video different video of how Filipinos got our dark skin. It's not because of the sun. South Asians. Anyway, it's your boy King Churro. Thank you for watching. Remember that you're loved and remember to be great every day because tomorrow is never promised. And you know what? Just keep learning. Don't conclude that just because someone says Jamaica that they're talking about black people. And don't conclude that just because Kamala Harris says she's half Jamaican that she's half black. Do some more research. Research migration. That's all you gotta do. Peace out, y'all.
Every day you wake up, you got a decision to make. To go right or left, up or down, right or wrong. At the end of the day, you make the decision. Nobody forces you. So make the right decision. Make moves, set the goal. Stop making excuses, man. And if it look like a duck, walk like a duck, and sound like a duck, it's a duck. Stop guessing. Just do the right thing. You heard? You hear me? I love y'all. Stay positive. Love one another.
All right. Have you guys ever heard of Tessanne Chin? She was on The Voice. She sings reggae mostly. She used to be a backup singer for Jimmy Cliff. She is of Taiwanese and English descent. Her mom's English. Her dad's Taiwanese.
My name is Tessanne Chin.
Where you from?
I'm from Kingston, Jamaica.
Yeah.